How do I politely reject a guy's proposal? Just say no. There's no need to be formal or polite. Say no. You don't go like, oh my god, thank you so much for taking your time to confess your feelings toward me. It's just that I'm going through a lot at this moment. No, no one cares and no one has time for that. Just say no.
We've been told that the reason why women are so rude to men is because men are potentially dangerous. Women have to be impolite and show bad manners as a form of protection. It's bullshit. The truth is that lots of women enjoy rejecting men. They like the power, the feeling of superiority. They want the feeling of being chased and then turning men down.
I know guys love to be the new and they don't want to chase, but you have to chase.
Don't mind chase you?
I don't really answer DMs. I don't give them the chance.
Okay, but you want them to chase you, but you're not going to answer them.
Yeah, keep going. One day I will.
One day you will.
Yeah, when you're deserving.
These women, they want men to chase because they want the self-esteem boost. They're on an ego trip. What could be better than all these men hitting on me, validating me, making me feel desirable, and then rejecting him and telling him and everyone else who's watching that he's not good enough for me. He doesn't deserve me. It's a total power trip and men are sick of it. And so lots of guys have just stopped approaching women.
Why men never approach women anymore?
I think we live in a society where men are torn down for small things, and they're scared to shoot their shot, and it's sad to see.
What can girls do these days to make guys approach them more?
Smile more and really think about the things that you're saying to these guys to make them feel that way. Don't say things like, you're too short, because that really does things to guys' ego. It's harmful.
You ever seen a girl reject a guy and scarred him?
I sadly have. At bars and stuff, you know, people just say ew and turn around, and you can look at the guy in the eyes and they look really sad after, and just overall it's a bad time.
It sucks to think about this because the psychology is so dark. But what is the specific reason why a woman says ew and then turns around instead of saying, thank you, I'm flattered, but I'm not interested? You've got to understand that these cruel rejections are intentionally dehumanizing. They are designed to make the man feel bad about himself. That's the goal. That's the purpose. Have you ever heard the saying that you can tell a lot about the quality of a person by how they treat those who they perceive to be beneath them? Like, everyone always sucks up to the boss, the person who has the power, but you can judge the quality of someone by how they treat the people who are below them. Now, we've all grown up listening to endless propaganda about how cruel men are, how men are just unfeeling scumbags, whereas women, by contrast, are kind, caring, compassionate creatures. And yet look at the pleasure that women take in rejecting men. When they have the power, when they are on top, they're the ones being pursued and chased, they're the desirable ones. Look how they then use that power to humiliate men, to feel good about themselves at the men's expense. But of course, for a woman to keep this narcissistic fuel supply at hand, men need to participate. They need to play along. They need to keep chasing, keep pursuing. But increasingly, men don't want to play that game anymore. It sucks. It's no fun. It's dehumanizing. It's humiliating. And so then how are women responding to men giving up, no longer wanting to pursue? That's when you bring in the shame. It doesn't matter if we treat you like trash. We're having fun. We're enjoying the fact that you're embarrassing yourself. We like kicking you when you're at your most vulnerable. That needs to continue. In order for you to be a real man, you have to keep pursuing us. That's what a real man would do.
Society has made men think that they're the ones that are supposed to be chased. So a lot of guys nowadays think that they're the ones that are supposed to be taken out on dates, their toes sucked as a, let me tell you, guys, it's time to man up. It's time to take control. You know, I think men are supposed to be the pursuers and women are supposed to be the pursued.
Can you hear the contempt that they have at the thought that men might have their own standards, that men might enjoy being pursued for once? And I thought feminism was about equality, men and women being treated the same. It's bullshit. It was always bullshit. If it suits her, then she wants feminism. But the moment that it suits her to embrace traditional gender roles, where a man has to expend more effort, then suddenly she's in favor of that. Gone is any notion of equality. Suddenly, you need to man up. You need to do your role. Because God forbid a woman should have to go a single moment without access to her narcissistic fuel supply.
Men are the biggest fucking bitches, and I just want to know why. Why is it that Every single guy I've given my number to, except for one, maybe two, since I started dating at the beginning of the summer, from me going up to them, just come up and fucking say something, bro. Like, such pussies. I just don't what are you guys worried about? Rejection? Do you need a tampon? Get the fuck over it. How are we supposed to procreate if you can't even approach a woman that you're interested in public? It's honestly really disappointing. I'm disappointed in you all.
I know that men and women have to meet somehow. And I know that it sucks to punish good women who are kind and polite by having no men approach them anymore. But for men to actually have some standards, to collectively say no and say the way that we are being treated needs to improve, we deserve dignity, respect, basic politeness. And without that, we're no longer going to approach women. If that's where the culture has moved, I can't help but cheer for that, at least a little bit. I think as a whole, men are just so tired of carrying the stigma of being a man and all the negative connotations that that seems to hold in the minds of women. It's often exhausting to talk to a woman for the first time, trying to make polite conversation but having to expend a lot of energy deconstructing all the massively negative ideas that she starts off with about you as a man, as though you personally are responsible for all the behavior of the terrible men that she's encountered before. It's tiring to interact with a woman who believes that it is completely reasonable for her to begin an interaction with you from the baseline assumption that you, a kind, normal, polite person, are a potential criminal, rapist, murderer. I mean, do women honestly not see how disgustingly sexist they are? How crazy inappropriate it is to be this bigoted? And then, to top it all off, to have the nerve to act surprised when men don't want to approach you anymore.
How is it that I look like this today, yet no man wants me to be his girlfriend?
Is this a serious question? Because women just went from saying they rather pick a bear over a man. So why the hell would men approach you? Or even look in your direction? But not only that, so many women have taught men over the years that all men are predatorial, so the good men of the world gave up. And it's so funny because women will constantly say that men don't listen, but now that men are listening, y'all are wondering where the good guys are at, why they don't approach you anymore, and why men are just simply not interested. And why the hell would they be interested? They don't know if they're going to be the next subject of all men are trash content on social media. They don't know if they're going to be accused of doing something they didn't do. They don't know if they're going to be used for dates. They don't know if they're going to be manipulated and then called a narcissist. And in this particular video, she's also asking why didn't they approach her because she looks the way that she looks. But the bottom line is most women are basic. There's nothing special to them. We all look the freaking same. So yeah, you actually have to come with more than just your looks. You actually need a personality nowadays too. Okay, bye.
For anyone who's not on TikTok who is wondering what she's referring to when she said that women are picking a bear over a man, she's referring to this TikTok trend that went around where they did like street interviews with women where they asked, who would you rather be stuck in the woods with, a bear or a man? And the answers really revealed just how disgustingly sexist the average woman is. Because women overwhelmingly were answering bear. I'd rather be in the woods with a bear than a man. I know that might sound ridiculous. I swear this is a real thing. You go onto TikTok, you type man versus bear, you'll see like compilations of women answering this way. Thousands of videos of women being interviewed, saying that they would feel safer in the company of a bear. They even covered this on the Whatever podcast.
So the question is, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a man or a bear?
A bear.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, bear.
Probably a bear.
Did you only say that because your two friends over here?
No, honestly, I just think that I would be able to outrun the bear. I feel like we hear more like horror stories about like sexual assault, and so that fear is like ingrained in my head.
It's more a negative comment on like how our social media and how media in general portray men, because the image that you're getting of men is obviously pretty negative.
Yeah.
Whereas generally speaking, men are not like that. It's more likely you'll meet a kind-hearted man in the woods than you will a kind-hearted bear.
I mean, the whole thing is so fucking ridiculous, but it became really popular because this trend, this question, it really gets to the heart of what's happening in our culture. It reveals a lot about our societal beliefs and about female psychology, and I want to spend the rest of this video exploring that. So if you've seen this man versus bear TikTok trend and you've been curious to get my thoughts on it, I'm going to talk about it in the rest of this video, which is available on Patreon.